You're gonna make me love somebody else if you keep on treating me the way you do. Ooh, 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 ooh. You're gonna make me love somebody else if you keep on treating me the way you do. Woo, 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 woo. Y'all notice I ain't trying to rap because I can't rap. I went down the street and I said, walk that. Hey, a hop, a hip and a hop. It's too far back. What's up, everybody? You know what this is. This is AJ Copeland, and this is Topics to Go. Oh, wow. Today I want to talk about R&B versus rap. R&B versus rap. I thought maybe I'd do a YouTube video with some little fun, little twist to it. You know, I'm always talking about relationships and sex and, you know, a lot of other stuff. So I thought maybe I'd do something a little fun today and talk about just giving you, this is my opinion and my take on it. I mean, everybody got an opinion and a take on music, but I'm just going to give you mine. All right, this is how I see it. This is how I feel. All right, number one, R&B, you know, because I grew up doing that era. I'm not telling you how old I am, but I did grow up doing that era of R&B when it was hot, you know, when you had your Earth, Wind, and Fire, your Isley Brothers, your Teddy Pendergrass, your Chaka Khan, Aretha Franklin, Tina Marie, you know, Sly Stone and the Family. You know, I was young when they were out, but, you know, for the most part, I got an opportunity to experience all that music and all those wonderful lyrics and meaning and purpose. And I also got a chance to experience when rap came on the scene, like in the early 80s. Kind of like early 80s, mid 80s, late 80s, in the 80s. And I wasn't really into rap because during that time I was into gospel. so you know, I got from R&B to gospel, and so I missed the rap because I was into gospel at that time. But I do remember the names like, you know, of course, Jay-Z, Heavy D, the Fat Boys, Run DMC, you know, a Public Enemy, you know, those groups during that time when they was, you know, just coming out, you know, I do remember a little bit here and there, but like I said, I wasn't really into rap like that. But so now we are where we are. And, you know, back during those times, like in the 80s maybe, like 80s and early 90s maybe, rap was cautious rap. And what I mean by that is that it had a message. You know, even though you had like somebody, you know, people like Tupac and Public Enemy that, you know, would be considered trap rap today, that rap still was educational because they talked about the street, but they educated you on the injustice, you know, the unjust justice that was happening to black men and to a community as a whole. So they kind of, you know, poetically express the various things that were going on within the communities and going on in our lives. It wasn't selfish. It was reality. And everybody knows Tupac was very, very, very smart, very intellectual. So, you know, and not only him, and Nas and Jay-Z and a lot of them are very smart and intellectual. So, you know, it was like cautious rap. It was that rap that got you to thinking about life, your circumstances, similar to R&B, because most of those dudes that came from that era that came out in the 80s and 90s, they came from the same era I came from, which is that R&B. And in that R&B, you know, those lyrics, man, they got you thinking about life. There again, had you thinking about your situations, had you thinking about, you know, should you stay in, should you let it go? And at other times it would have you crying. And in some situations, a lot of babies was born because of certain music. When you start talking about Luther Vandross and Teddy Pendergrass and Al Green and all those individuals and Marvin Gaye, then, you know, that during the time when a lot of babies was born, because a lot of sex was going on when you were listening to those cats, all right? But moving up today, music has, in my view, has lost its flavor and it has lost its taste. And what I mean by that is that, where's the message? I'm about lyrics. Music is fine, the production is fine, it's great, but I'm about messaging. And anybody, I would say, that's in music today. Now you did have that neo soul that tried to come back and educate this new generation about old school. That's what neo soul was all about. It kind of took what was, in old school music and kind of changed it a little bit, made a few changes and kind of brought it up to date. But neo soul didn't do very well. I mean, it did well for a short period of time, and it kind of slowly faded out. Now what you call R&B today is basically it is one type of music. Is one messaging. You know what I mean? It's mostly about sex and women, and getting with you and doing this to you and all that. But it don't really get into deep into life. Now we do have some positive dudes out here, cats out here with, like Kendrick Lamar and, a couple of other guys out here that's doing some positive things in rap. But when you start talking about the numbers, when you start talking about the overall general music itself, is very few out here that's really messaging, like spitting real messages out here. And I'm not talking against those messages that may be rough and raw and on the edge. I'm not talking about that that's a bad thing to have those kind of messages, because that's what we got from Tupac. That's what we got from Public Enemy. That's what we got from NWA. So, we got that rough and hardcore type of music, but it was still enough to listen and get you to thinking about life and your circumstances, versus what we hear today with most individuals talking about trap. When you start talking about trap music, and everybody's over the video with their guns and, smoking their weed and selling their crack and their cocaine, and it's glorified. All of that is glorified. And back in the day, it wasn't really glorified, but it was talking about this is what the system have led us to do. They talk about the reasoning why they were doing what they were doing. They were doing what they're doing because a system that pressured them into doing those things. Whereas today, you're not really, most dudes ain't talking about the system itself. They are glorifying the act itself. Rather than addressing the system that put them there, they are glorifying the act. And so that's the difference that I have when it comes to rap today, is that their messaging is very unclear. And when you start talking about the young people that are listening to rap, the sad thing about it is that it is so important that it be educational. Because when you got guys on the train and on the bus, and walking down the street with their earplugs on and they rapping, and I'm not hearing no knowledge coming out. You know what I mean? I'm not hearing anything that get me to stop and to think. You know what I mean? It gets me to wonder and get scared and get afraid and like, oh my God, because when you hear these dudes rapping, the things that they're saying is all about fuck you, nigga. I don't care nothing about you. I will blow you. I'll pop a cap in you, blah, 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 it's like, don't look at me, just crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? So what, I smoke weed. So what, I do that crack, so what, I'm cool, I'm bad, it's all of that. That's what goes on today, and it's kind of scary when you hear these young dudes out here rapping it, because you sitting back going like, is they going to go off in a minute now? If they're going to go off on me in a minute, I'll be on the, you be on the train like, and on the bus or what have you. These dudes, they be... they really be into it. You know what I'm saying? But then if you put a book in front of them, most of them can't read. That's sad. You put a book in front of them, most of them can't read. Most of them don't know the math. Most of them don't go to school. Most of them don't have a job. Most of them don't have a place to stay. It's sad, and I'm not saying that that's because of rap, but it's not educational. Let's be real. Now, R&B, on the other hand, don't get me wrong. There were some pros and cons with R&B as well, but it was more pro than con. You know what I'm saying? It was more about life and circumstances and situations. It made you either love or it made you fall out of love. It made you even want to stay or it made you want to leave. But rap itself, it has evolved into something that it's not like it used to be. You know, I mean, these young cats today don't really know what hardcore is. You know, hardcore, if you're going to be hardcore, be educational. You know, teach somebody something, you know, teach these young brothers something. If you're going to talk about the streets, if you're going to talk about your life, if you're going to talk about a system, if you're going to talk about the circumstances that you're in, then let it be educational. So it can so somebody can listen to that and think about making some adjustments in their lives and not think about, you know, I'm going to hurt this dude or that dude or whatever, or it's okay to go and rob this bank, or it's okay to kill this brother, this sister, or it's okay to beat your woman, you know what I'm saying? Or it's okay to rape, or it's okay to sell drugs to your family. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is what we're getting out of that today. It's okay to smoke weed and then you get brain dead. Now, let me say this right here. Now, I'm just going to say weed ain't for everybody. Green ain't for everybody. All right, blunts ain't for everybody. All right, so I'm not about to try to discriminate, but I'm just gonna say it ain't for everybody because some people's brain it fries. I mean, you can't even have a real conversation with them. You know what I mean? But you have rap that glorifies that kind of thing. So when I talk about R&B versus rap, what I'm saying is that the industry pretty much has pushed R&B to the side and have because it's all about the money. In the music industry, it's all about the money. It's all about supply and demand. It's all about where the demand is. It's all about a look. It's all about a presentation. You don't even have to be that talented. You know what I'm saying? Now, back in the day, you had to have some talent. They wasn't even really focused on the image and look. Because when you look at some of those old videos of some of these cats, man, they definitely, a lot of them weren't attractive. Women and men alike. They weren't attractive individuals. But they were talented, man. They had that raw talent. And that's what the industry used to be about. Now, it's about this. It's all about a look first and talent last. Because it's about what's going to draw the people to you to spend the money. And the industry is hurting. But I think the industry is hurting because it has made changes in the wrong direction. And I think the industry, if it begins to wake up and realize how important R&B is to the music industry, and not only how important R&B is, but how important some rap is to the industry. When you start talking about Nas and you start talking about what's that guy name? I can't think. It's so many out here. I can't think of a name. But when you start talking about the positive things that can come out of rap and the positive thing, I mean, there's good and bad in everything. There's good and bad in our life, good and bad in circumstance. So there's good and bad in everything. But I just want to say, to me personally, when it comes to R&B, when it comes to rap, I think that for those individuals that was there during the time of R&B, they understand where I'm coming from. You know, those individuals that came up during that era, they understand where I'm coming from. For the new cats out here, new dudes out here that you know, fresh and what have you, you may not understand where I'm coming from. But I think that rap has lost its education, and I don't even know. I mean, you can't put it no simpler than that. In my view, rap has lost its education because that's what it used to be. It used to educate you, as raw and as trappy as, because trap music didn't just come out. All right.